friends, Heba here. I'm back with you today with another interesting topic. Just bear with me while I light up my incense. Natural Palo Santo, chemical free. It's for a beautiful energetic cleanse for you and for me. Here we go. Oops. Okay, so today's topic is rather an interesting one, and I must say very controversial as well. So I'd like to hear your feedback at the end of the video. Just write them down below and let me know what you think. This topic is about toxic positivity. So the title of this session or this segment is Obsession with Positive Thinking Leads to Toxic Positivity. Okay, so what does that mean, and how have I come to, decide that positivity and toxicity can be one and the same? I'll explain that throughout the video, so bear with me here before making a decision based on just the title of this segment. Okay, so the New Age belief is that it's trying to push the notion that we must be positive to have a positive life. So be positive and everything will be fine, okay? So the consequence of fake positivity is a fake personality, fake life, fake friends, fake external world that does not match our true inner world and the true state of how we feel. So what I think is that it is far better to allow real, organic, emotional flow through our energetic body, through energetic expression, through the certain channels of our body and the bioenergetic body and field, than attempt to circumvent these emotions, leading to cognitive dissonance, anxiety, and in many cases depression. So, I feel like it's a very important topic to talk about because, like I said, the New Age movement is populating the notion that you must stay positive and have a positive life, okay? So when one stops masquerading those negative emotions with toxic New Age love and light false positivity, spiritual escapism, so when we escape into spirituality, just escape the pain and the suffering, or when we stop using that lack of time, I don't have time, as an excuse to not do the inner work, when we stop all this and when we sit in solitude with the self, with the shadow, with the darkness, and the part of ourselves that's been repressed, neglected and ignored for a long time, then and only then we can experience and feel what is actually going on in the body. We can get that feedback from the body because our body is a very intelligent system that gives us feedback all the time. So when we stop to listen, then we can really learn what's happening. And we may release the core pain and the wounding and not just tackle the symptoms. So I have prepared a list of steps, if you like. It's an oversimplification, nevertheless an important one, and good for people who are just not sure how to sort of resolve these emotional outbursts or emotional expressions. So it is of utmost importance, in my opinion, to take these steps to work with our organic body, with the natural flow of these expressions, rather than attempt to circumvent them. And so I will be now going through the steps. So step 1 is neutral observation. So when we have an emotional expression, for an effective emotional resolution, number 1 step is to neutrally observe without any judgment, in order to identify the nature of that emotional expression. So it's the same thing as looking at yourself in the mirror and thinking, okay, what is happening? I can see there's anger, or I can see there's shame, I can see there's guilt, so I can see there's resentment. So you're doing this as though you're observing yourself from the outside, not getting extra charged because you're angry, or not blaming yourself for being angry. Or I'm just picking one of those emotions. I'm just choosing anger just for simplification. So first is to neutrally observe without any judgment. So don't judge. At this stage, we're only making that, we're only recognizing what is happening in order to identify the nature of what is being expressed. So that's step 1. Now, step 2 is to make the unconscious conscious. And this is what Carl Jung really taught us about a very long time ago. Nevertheless, still very, very significant in today's psychology field. So really, really important to make the unconscious conscious, because if we're not conscious of what we're doing, it's just going to go amiss. It's going to go unnoticed and nothing is going to be resolved. So we need to take time and for ourselves and really observe the happenings and making the unconscious conscious. So what we need to ask here, what we need to ask ourselves here is the anger reaction to something from outside of myself, or is it habitual? When I feel unheard, for example, because that's usually a trigger from past trauma, pains or wounds from childhood. If we feel unheard, we're going to react maybe in an angry way. So we need to work out whether we're legitimately angry because of an external event, like say, for example, someone's physically abusing somebody else. We see that and we feel anger or feel pain for them. Okay, so is that a trigger or from our past? No, that's our inner moral compass waking up and saying, well, hang on, something's not right here. That's not correct action. That's not okay. Okay, and we may even rush to their defense, So that's okay, that's legitimate anger. But what I'm talking about here is the anger. I'm just, again, using anger as one of these emotions. There could be other emotions, but I'm just using anger here. And so is this anger triggered from within? Is it habitual? Is it from childhood, connected to childhood trauma? Is it acute or chronic? And have I been avoiding it, or am I ready to release that and resolve that way of emotionally expressing myself? So 2 is making the unconscious conscious. Number 3 is awareness of the feeling. So now you're going to tap into your body. Another New Age belief is that the body doesn't matter, we are not the body, just go into meditation and all will be good. So nothing can be farther from the truth. It is, we can sometimes over-identify with the body, that's true, but we cannot ignore the body. The body is a part of us, okay? So bring your awareness into your physical body and feel where that pain is. So let's say you're angry, you become angry. Where is that pain? Where are you feeling it? Chest, in the stomach? Like when I'm angry, I feel it in my stomach and I get a real bad migraine. And I know straight away that there's some underlying anger there that is, you know, possibly connected to childhood wounding that I need to resolve. So I work with it rather than try and circumvent it or suppress it. And the last thing you want to do is take pain relief for these kind of pains, because pain is an indicator that there's something beneath the layers that needs to be unveiled. So that's very important, is to become aware of the feeling in the body. And also always remember, your breath is an indicator of your mind state, because breath and mind are very closely linked. And yeah, the breath says a lot about your mind state. So observe your breath. How is your breath? Is it very rapid? Is it shallow? Is it disconnected? Are you conscious of your breathing patterns? You know, even the temperature of the breath. Yogic science has a lot to say about this. If you ever want to look it up and do some research into that field, very, very interesting. Now, number four is to redirect the energy. So now, once we've recognized I've got this pain here due to this arising energetic expression, then I want to decide how I want to release it. So now we're going to take physical steps, because just sitting, closing the eyes and meditating and hoping that it will go away is not going to solve it. So we need to take physical steps. There's a whole science dedicated to this field, is called psychosomatic science or practices, which are all about teaching us how to work with the body to release those energy traps. So like, for example, Qigong, or, you know, dancing, jumping. In yogic science, we call it Chit Shakti Prakriya, which is consciousness resolution techniques or consciousness awakening techniques. So we do like clapping and jumping and all sorts of things, all sorts of movements to shake off that energy, stuck energy in the body. Okay, so decide how you want to do it. Some people take cold showers, some people will go for a run, dancing. My way was dancing, screaming, and that's okay. All right, we should not feel bad about expressing ourselves when we are trying to, you know, release ourselves from all this this bondage and this prison. Sometimes the mind can be a prison, you know. So nothing wrong with expressing ourselves. In fact, we should do it on a daily basis, and not try and find excuses as to, you know, why we cannot or have the time to do it. So really important, this step. Now, number 5, here we get a little bit more intellectual from here. So number 5 would be to affirm. So affirm, very important to bring the mind into this this process. So we're going to affirm, set intention, and say, I am not the anger. I am not the anger. I am affected by anger. Very big difference, because here we are dissociating from the identification, assuming that we're angry people, assuming that identification. No one is born angry. They might be born with a predisposition towards negative thinking, towards anger, towards maybe low self-esteem or low confidence, or, you know, have these things in their astrological chart. But that's not an excuse to avoid doing the inner work. So my chart says that I can be very harsh when I speak, because I've got Mercury, strong Mercury, which is about communication with Mars together. So I can be a little bit harsh with words. I can't use that, and I will not use that as an excuse to go around and just unleashing, you know, my yeah, you know, harsh words, being rude to other people. So we need to be very discerning, and we really need to do the inner work so we can balance what needs to be balanced and harmonize and alchemize those, maybe a little over the top, or maybe something is not so powerful in our organic makeup. So it's good to sort of, modulate it and fix it along the way. And that is really good and really fun to do as well, because it's, a little by little every day, and you can see how far you've come. And it's a very exciting journey to be on. So that is number 5, is to affirm. Number 6 is to, again, it's an intellectual it's an intellectual process now. We need to reevaluate. So reevaluation is the calm after the storm, when we sit with ourselves maybe at night and reflect on our past actions. Do it daily, because you'll remember everything, the little details as well, and the things that you've said and the things that you've expressed that weren't really, ideal, little out of place. So always go back to reflecting without the shame, without the guilt, without the self-pity, the self-blame. We all make mistakes, so just observe and reflect and reevaluate. Could I have done better? And what can I do better next time? Instead of emotionally charging, maybe next time I will opt to retreat and redirect my energy. So it's a process of overriding unhelpful habits and tendencies that we've, habits are unconscious. So all of us have habits, that unwanted habits that we want to change. I'm pretty sure that this applies to every person, every living man or woman. And so it's fair to say that we can, once we become conscious of these habits, we can just sit down and reevaluate how many of these habits we would like to change. So that's a conscious decision that we make. So that step is reevaluation. And seven, the last step, and that's the hardest step because it's the last. That means our work is done. So it's harder than the first few steps, but well worth it. Integration. So integrating the lower aspect, which is usually the unconscious or the subconscious, with the higher aspect of our beingness. So what is it that I need to foster acceptance of? The parts of me that I've rejected. I have been very angry in the past, for instance, and now I accept that I've been angry. I'm not going to blame, self-pity, self-loathe. I will come to accept that part of me was once a part of me, and just accept that there's rejected or suppressed parts of me, and hence generating angry reactions from within due to those things that I have not yet resolved. These old parts need to be acknowledged, accepted, integrated, and loved. We need to love ourselves in parts and as a whole. Okay, we can't leave anything out, and that's an ever-evolving process. I don't think I've worked with many people who 100% totally, completely love themselves. There's always parts of ourselves that we wish we could do better, and that's a process. Okay, now this is the 7-step process, and it will be up there. You can see the steps. It's an oversimplification, of course, as the process of shadow integration and inner child healing is far more involved and cumbersome, but this is a very good start. And there's often variables depending on the person's past experiences, circumstances, templating, DNA templating, karmic predispositions, and social status. You know, sometimes we want to do the work and just we're in the wrong place in the wrong time. So there's, you know, other processes for these kind of situations. Now you may ask, what does this New Age agenda benefit from this positivity or fake positivity movement? Well, they benefit because it's feeding the guys and the network, the negative network on the top that benefits from you surrendering your higher power, your decision making, your inner Christos, and that, you know, ruling faculty that represents your heart and mind working in unison. So when you've attained a level of knowledge of the self and pierced the first veil, which is the matrix, you understand how the matrix works, and you've gone beyond that, you'll understand there is a spiritual battle taking place on this level of reality. And the new age agenda benefits from your surrender to lay low, surrender your resistance and your power of intellect to reduce yourself to an observer of the happenings, and then rejoice in your positivity. So you remain dormant, unwilling to create and make changes. In other words, you are condemned to a state of inertia. A state of inertia is a state of what we call in Vedic science tamas, a state of no action, and a state of, you know, not being the intelligent observer, but just laying low, surrendering your own power, your own abilities, your creativity. And the state of inertia is only good for some things in life. It's a mode of nature, one of the modes of nature, and it complements two other states of nature. One is the rajasic, which is a mode of activity, and one is sattvic, the mode of goodness. The inertia or the tamasic mode is good for example, when we want to retire, go to bed. You don't want to be in a state of hyperactivity or state of activity because your mind has to switch off. So that's the state that we need to try and align ourselves with. Bottom line is fake positivity is a part of the New Age teachings, and it promotes escapism, and it promotes bypassing. It promotes washing away of all that hurts, washing it away by putting a positive spin on it. So instead of calling it for what it is, we change it, the description, give it a new title and put a positive spin on it and hope that it will one day wash away. And it doesn't work like this. The New Age way is about feeling good. Feeling good instead of promoting alchemical works to integrate parts of the self and access the gates of true intelligence. And this is just on a side note, this is a reason why we personally do not hold feel-good retreats. Our retreats are focused on healing and doing the deep inner work. So if you're interested in coming along to our spiritual retreats, visit our website www.collectiverising.earth/retreats. You'll see all the information there. So just to end this video, on a last note, I want to say that fake or toxic positivity does not help anyone, and it has never helped anyone. There are few exceptions only. It's only those people who've already completed the deep inner work and they're ready to rewire the chemical process in the brain, because they feel a little bit stuck and still driven towards a negative mindset, but they've completed all the inner work and the shadow work, but just feel a little bit stuck in that area and more inclined towards negative thinking. Then positive thinking will most likely will help them. But for the majority of us still working on the shadow self, it's a very dangerous thing to assume positive thinking will lead to a positive life. Wish it was that easy, but it's not. So I hope this segment helps you and gives you some ideas, some thoughts to ponder. Please leave your feedback in the comments section below. Like, subscribe and share. And thank you once again for being here. Namaste.